High in the mountains of northern Vietnam, a market day begins long before sunrise.
Long before the market opens, the road is already awake.
This road has carried more market days than anyone could count.
Most of today's food began its journey long before the sun. Before sunrise, the road belongs to the people who have somewhere important to be. If you arrived now, you would never believe what this place becomes. Every market day begins with someone arriving before everyone else. Some tools become part of a person's life without ever becoming important enough to talk about. Before anyone eats, someone must first bring warmth into the morning. The market doesn't wake up all at once. It wakes up one fire at a time. Most mornings begin by preparing a place for someone who hasn't arrived yet. The welcome often arrives long before the visitor does. The market comes alive the same way a village does, one person at a time. A market becomes real the moment two people need something from each other.
Before a meal can warm the body, someone must first warm the water.
Some people came here to trade. Others came simply to feel warm again. Some things travel to market more carefully than others. Respect for the customer often begins long before the customer arrives. Many people came for the market. Some came for the people they hoped to find there. Before any business was done, there was usually time for tea. Some routines are repeated so often that they become part of a person's identity. Only a few hours ago, these leaves were still growing on a hillside. Long before breakfast appears, people can hear it on the cutting board. After the journey comes something just as important, the chance to sit down. Some traditions become so familiar that they stop feeling like traditions at all.
Some friendships become strong enough to share a silence.
Children often arrive at wonder before they arrive at hunger. Sometimes freedom begins with just enough money to make your own choice. After enough years, the work stops being something you do. It becomes part of who you are. Sometimes the first thing a meal gives you is not food. It's warmth. After a cold morning in the mountains, warmth is often the first thing people taste. The first bite isn't always about hunger. Sometimes it's about finally arriving.
Some stories survive because they're worth remembering. Others survive because they're worth sharing again.
In places like this, a table is rarely meant for just one person.
Every market has a heartbeat. In Bac Ha, it often sounds like breakfast.
In many families, the first serving has never really belonged to the person who paid for it.
Some visitors come to the market every week. Others come every day.
In a place like this, familiarity can be worth more than introduction.
The market changes with every generation. The gathering never does.
Some have waited here so many times that the market feels familiar to them too. By the time some people arrive, Others are already telling stories about the morning. Some places don't need a sign. People find them by memory. At Bac Ha, a table often belongs less to the people sitting there than to the people who still need a place to sit. The people feeding the market are often the last ones to eat. In places like this, responsibility often arrives long before adulthood. Before the internet reached these mountains, news traveled the same way people did.
Some lessons are learned from books. Others are learned standing face to face.
Long before food reaches a table, it passes through countless hands, roads, and lives.
From above, it looks like one market. Up close, it feels like 1,000 different mornings happening at once.
The market never stands still. It changes a little every hour.
On the same road, one person carries home what another has just come to find.
Some knowledge survives because it is practiced, not because it is written down. Most traditions survive because someone takes the time to show, and someone else takes the time to learn. To adults, this is a market. To children, it's a place where the day feels endless. After enough years, you stop coming to the market for urgency. You come for the morning itself. You can tell the time in Bac Ha without a clock. Just watch what the sunlight does to the market. In Bac Ha, people rarely watch the clock. The market tells them when it's time. What arrived as people in the morning now leaves as hundreds of journeys heading home. For a few hours, thousands of lives gather in one place. Then the mountains quietly take them back. People leave quietly. Their absence usually stays behind a little longer. Every busy place depends on work that most people never notice. Not every successful morning ends with a profit. Sometimes it ends with enough. The market is built by hundreds of small actions. It disappears the same way.
A few hours ago, this patch of ground held an entire morning.
They arrived carrying expectations. They leave carrying what the morning gave them. The moment you leave a place, it begins turning into a memory. For a few hours each week, distant villages stop being distant. When people leave Bac Ha, they rarely leave empty-handed. They carry pieces of the morning home with them. A market day isn't finished when people leave. It's finished when what they brought home becomes part of everyday life. The best part of a long journey is knowing there are no more roads left to follow. The market ends in the afternoon. The stories usually last much longer. Most special days do not end with a moment. They end by slowly becoming ordinary again. The most beautiful things rarely end with a finale. They simply become part of life.